how about another episode of Dating Nightmares? I got a few minutes to spare, and I think this is a pretty good one. So, I met a guy that I seriously believe has multiple personalities. I believe I met 9 of his multiple personalities in one date. But it was crazy. But let's talk about some of his personalities. So, personality number 1 is he tells me that his father owns the house that he's in. I says, okay, but you live in an apartment complex. He owns the apartment. He's like, my father owns everything. And I'm looking at him. Okay, I'm like, okay, so your father owns the apartment complex. I'm like, what are you, like the superintendent or something like that? He's like, no, my dad. And he pumps his chest. He's like, my dad. Well, it turns out he was talking about the Lord, God. And he says, my dad has brought you into my life so that you can be my wife. I laugh at him. I look at him. And remember, this is the first time meeting. And I said, what? He says, you are a good woman. You are a strong woman. You are my woman. And he's like, my dad brought you here to be my woman, and you're going to be my wife. You just don't know it yet. And I looked at him like, dude, no, I'm not looking to get married. I'm looking for a relationship, but no. That's not something that happens on the first date. Then he turns and goes into personality number 2. And personality number 2 is that the reason that I have problems with men in my life is that I have a demon in me. Now, bear in mind, if you saw my other videos, multiple people are telling me I have a demon in me. But anyway, he says he has a duty where he needs to perform an exorcism on me in order to release my demon, and then I'll be worthy enough to be his wife. Okay, yeah, that was personality number 2. Personality number 3. He looks at me and he says, I have a secret to tell you. I says, okay, what's your secret? He's like, I'm a virgin. And I look at him, I says, you have a son. He says, they don't belong to me. He belongs to them. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm ready to end this date now. This guy is nuts. This guy is beyond nuts. And throughout the night, he went through a couple other personalities. But it's like, what is wrong with men? And maybe it's me. Maybe that's the problem, is I don't do a good enough vetting process beforehand. I mean, I like to give everybody a chance. I will see if there's some sort of connection, talk to them. And then I say, come on, let's meet. We'll meet at a coffee shop. We'll meet at a park. Sometimes, depending on how good the conversation is, I will meet at their house in a very safe area. It all depends. But it's like, the craziness comes out as soon as you meet. And I think that's part of my problem, is I always like the face-to-face meeting, because you could determine body language, intonation, tone, the words that they choose. You could look at their nervous tics. These are all things that you can't see when you're actually talking or texting to somebody. And that's one of the reasons why, for me, meeting somebody right away is important. But I was not expecting to meet a man with 9 different personalities. So that's another episode of Dating Nightmares.